right, guys, it's the time, so let's just get into it. So I might do a round robin format again, where we go around and everyone has their chance to ask a question if they have one. Obviously, if you don't have a question, it's no problem at all. And I'm just going to start it from like the order that I see on my screen. So with that, it means Steve, I see you on the top left corner, mate. So you're up first. If you have a question.
I don't think I have any general questions at the moment.
No
So,
worries. How's it all going? You're almost 2 months in, still seeing good
oh,
progress?
oh yeah, I'm loving it. Yeah, I'm seeing a lot of changes to my body, and I'm just loving how I feel in general. So
It's great.
I
Yeah,
cannot complain.
great. Fantastic. I might actually, rather than doing the round robin, because people might not have as many questions now because it's not as new and we all introduced each other last time. I'll just, if anyone has a Q&A, just put up your hand and ask. So does anyone want to start with the questions? I know the first one's always a bit awkward, but surely someone's got a question in here. No one's got a question? Well, I've got some topics to discuss, so we can get the ball rolling with them, and then we can go from there. Hey, Adam, welcome. Another newcomer.
Thank you.
Adam and Travis are the newcomers here. Yeah, I think so. Everyone else has been on board for a while. Sweet guys. So I mean, one of the things that you probably all see in your to-do list is a tracking of body stats. And sometimes people get a bit confused with this one because it says body stats. Unfortunately, I can't program track body weight. It includes all of it, but it is just weight. Okay. So for anyone who sees that and is like, oh, I don't want to measure everything and do everything, all I'm asking for is just a weigh in. Okay. And the reason I'm asking for this daily is because your weight, like on a given day, can fluctuate drastically depending on like when you last ate your bowel movements, how much water you're retaining, different things. So by seeing it daily, it gives me a better understanding of the trend that your weight is going. And most people in here have a clear, defined either calorie surplus or calorie deficit goal. And so there's a very obvious trend that I want it to be going. And it gives me the most direct feedback of seeing like how you're responding to the calories and the protein and the training. Okay, so for everyone here who's not tracking their weight and tracking their body stats, I know it seems like a lot, but literally you jump on the scale, you open the app, and you input what you see. It takes a minute. So just try and make that a daily habit if we can, because people do slack on that a little bit. Um, is that clear for everyone? Any questions about tracking body stats? No, awesome. Gaetano, did you raise your hand? Do you have a question? You've got an emoji.
Yeah, what's up, buddy? How you doing?
Good, man. How are you?
Good, good. Yeah, question is, when doing rows, whether it be wide grip or close grip rows, is it better to sort of lean your body forward as you're coming forward to get that stretch in your lats, or is it best to like stay upright, or does it not matter? What do you feel?
Uh, have you experimented with both and felt what felt best for you?
I've experimented with both. You do get like a little bit of a better stretch on when you lean forward,
Yep.
but I feel like as as I'm doing the set, I feel like I'm losing form when leaning forward and kind of feel sort of awkward as I like I'm midway through or something. So then
Yep.
I kind of just go back to like staying completely upright. Uh,
Yeah, I mean, it won't make too much of a difference. For me, I would prefer to lean slightly forward when I'm like stretching it back out and really get that stretch on the lats and then coming back and kind of like leaning back a little bit as I retract my shoulder blades back and then get that squeeze. So a bit of a
mhm.
stretch on the lat and then like that. And then if your form is breaking down a little bit, you're finding it harder to maintain control when you're more fatigued, then you could certainly just revert back to just like kind of staying neutral and trying to squeeze out more reps, which would be fine as well. So you could do like a bit of a hybrid. Um,
Okay.
yeah, like little like nuanced form cues like that. if something feels better without doing it, like just do it, whatever feels better. And that's like a general thing for most exercises. If you're feeling like a better contraction one way, then do it that way.
Mhm.
All have different like limb lengths and mechanics, and so sometimes a very clear prescription will be have to do it at this exact angle, and things may not be necessary for everyone.
Got it. Cool.
Like a dumbbell press, like some people might feel their chest more a little higher, or some people might feel it with a little bit more like elbow angle in here. And so those things vary person to person.
Sounds good.
Yeah, cool. Thanks
Cool,
for
cool.
doing the first question. And I like the raise hand emoji thing. I just saw that. I was like, I wonder if that was him trying to ask a question.
Yeah.
Does yeah, anyone else want to follow that up? Anyone else got any questions?
So I have a food question.
Travis, thank you. Yep.
The protein, does it make a difference? Like, what is the source of the protein? Like protein bars, protein shakes, like actual meat? Is it just whatever it takes to get it?
Great question. We probably want majority to come through food, but I think we talked about this on the last call. But you could have probably two protein shakes a day to help. So if your protein powder is like 30 grams in a scoop, that will be 60 grams. And then you could maybe add a bar on top of that, but that's probably as much artificial protein from a powder as I'd recommend. That's what I have probably every day. I'm vegetarian, so it makes hitting it through food a little harder. So I definitely do have two scoops of protein a day and a protein bar. Um, Honestly, like what would be best for everyone is if they just ate a heap of, protein through real food sources. But that can be pretty hard for everyone to hit their targets, which are quite high when we're trying to build muscle. So supplementing will be good if you need to. But yeah, don't overdo that limit. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, and yeah, like in terms of like protein timing, like having a protein shake post workout, like those things, they're like marginal. The biggest focus is just like hitting the protein target each day, trying to just hit that protein target each day. And
Okay.
that's an important thing. Yeah.
I
Cool.
have a question. I just thought of when you mentioned the vegetarian diet. What do you use as the vegetarian protein source?
Uh,
'Cause I'd like to reduce my meat because I'm like to get my protein, I have to eat like huge chicken breasts and stuff like that in order to even come close to it. Like,
yeah. So tofu, which is probably not the best thing for you, but tofu. And then I have eggs still, and so I definitely utilize eggs. And then two scoops of protein. So a typical day for me would be like oats in the morning with protein powder, berries, and things like that. And lunch would typically be eggs on like sourdough bread. And then dinner would typically be like tofu, sweet potato, broccoli, that kind of stuff. And then
lentils or anything like that?
yeah, they're not that high in protein really.
Tofu is not really that high
Yeah, it's
either.
not that high either, but it's
I mean,
higher than lentils and stuff. But yeah, definitely like if I cook like a Mexican, I'll do like lentils and kidney beans, and then there's a product in Australia called corn, which is actually like a protein mince derived from egg whites and mushrooms that I use as the mince for the like a Mexican kind of like mince meat thing. So yeah, that's how I do it. There are some products around like that as well that are not like soy derived, which I think is better. So yeah, that's probably the option. But honestly, like if you don't have a problem eating meat, then that like it's probably going to be the better thing, if I'm honest.
yeah, I just like to reduce it because, just for
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, fair enough. Well, yeah, you can try those options and see how they go, see how they make you feel. Yeah. Um, anyone else got a question?
I got a question actually.
Yes, Zach.
Do you have any, is there like an optimal time to do the stretching? Do you feel like it should be done after the workout or because a lot of the times I feel like I'm gonna be honest, I'm not even necessarily doing the routine, but what I do is in the morning I always do a stretching routine, kind of like as I'm getting out of bed. And a lot of it is similar stretches to the ones that you have. So I do a lot of stretching every day, but it's not necessarily in line with the exact routines that you have laid out. Although
Uh,
I know that would be optimal.
yeah, it'd be more optimal, but if you're stretching every day, then that's good. Try and focus a lot of the stretching on like, thoracic mobility, stretching the chest, the
Yeah.
as well, like they're the key points, and that's why I target them. But if you want to add hamstrings, just generic full body stretches, that's totally cool. Um, in terms of optimal time, probably post workout would be good to just cool down and do it then. But honestly, just any time throughout the day, other than before your workout, because the warm up routine is in place for before your workout. And so that's what you should be doing, and that has stretching in it, and that's going to improve your mobility and things. The warm up routine. So that's the only time I don't want people doing their static stretching routine that I program. So post workout in the evening, in the morning, whatever works best for you.
Okay, okay. Yeah, I do the warm up every time. So I got that down. So okay, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, I used to like stretching in the morning, but now I like it in the evening because I've found that in the morning I feel so stiff that it's kind of like a bit harder to like get into better positions, and I don't know, I rather do it in the evening now.
I feel like that's one of the reasons why I do it when I get out of bed is because I feel so stiff and so sore, especially my upper body. So I am doing a lot of like the thoracic mobility kind of stuff.
I mean, and if you look at a dog or a cat, what's the first thing they do when they wake up? They do that down dog stretch, which is great for their thoracic. So,
Yeah.
maybe
Okay.
maybe they're trying to teach us something there. You might,
All right, I appreciate it. Thank you.
mate. Anyone else got a question? Don't be shy.
I had a question.
Yeah, Marcus.
I was wondering, do you think that it matters, like the spread of how much you eat at each meal? Like, should I try to balance that, or if I get like more in one, does it matter?
Doesn't matter.
Okay.
Yeah, it just try and hit the calorie and protein targets. Uh, if you have a 2,000 calorie meal, that's fantastic, especially for
Yeah.
you.
Okay.
I don't mind how you want to split it up. Um, Maybe try and spread it out, at least 2 meals in the day, which I'm sure you
Yeah.
do.
Yeah.
But yeah, it doesn't really matter. Just try and have protein in every meal you have. Like, I wouldn't just recommend like breakfast and lunch have minimal protein, and then you just go hard on protein at dinner. Like, try and have
Yeah.
protein.
Oh,
Uh,
all right. Thanks.
yeah. There's a lot you'll see online about all this nuanced, like kind of little things that don't really make a big picture. But I just try and get you guys to like focus on the bigger picture kind of outcome things. And like that's why we don't even look at the fat and carb percentages, and it's just calories and protein because that's the most important thing. So yeah,
All right. Great. Thank you.
no worries. Anyone else got a question?
I got one more. So a lot of the time if I'm doing like a chest workout, like it's like the second one, so it's more of like a burnout, whether it's like a cable fly, or something similar to that. Like especially if I'm trying to like push that contraction by like letting my shoulder blades like kind of go back and then being able to like kind of contract more.
Yep.
Especially since it's like longer into the workout and I've done a lot of repetitions.
Mhm.
Like I'll start to feel kind of like a pressure like on my shoulders. Like is there any way to like kind of minimize that? Or is that just kind of maybe like an injury thing or
You definitely like is it like kind of like right there and your like rotator cuff, or where are you kind of
yeah, like kind of in the front.
yeah, that's not good. I'm not too sure why you'd be feeling that unless there's some kind of injury going on or it's a form thing. Have
Yeah.
you sent me a video of you doing like a cable fly? Have
Sorry.
you sent me a video of you doing a cable fly?
No, but I mean it's just like in general, like say I'm like on the last rep of like bench or something too, like then kind of flare up a little bit.
So
So it's
potentially
not just like one particular movement. I just don't know if it.
Potentially what's happening is like when you're hitting fatigue, you're compensating with the shoulder and maybe losing form a little bit, especially if it's
Yeah.
just oh no, here goes the dog. Um, so what you want to do is like maybe on the fly, for example, when you're getting fatigued, you're letting the shoulders really roll forward extra than before. And so that's placing more pressure on the shoulders. So we just want to maintain that really good form. And so like on a fly or a bench, we want to make sure that the shoulders aren't just like fully rolling forward. So we still want to like go like this, but we don't want, and we want to get like optimal contraction here, but that doesn't mean it needs to be like this, and we're
Right.
struggling up, you know, they still want to kind of stay stacked and down and still getting that contraction, if that makes sense. And same as like on a bench. So like I see people when they get tired, they'll be benching and like with their shoulders back and in a nice position, chest up, and then they'll get tired and then they'll start losing that form and going into that like internal rotation shrugging position. And that could be what's like putting that pressure on your shoulders.
No, that makes sense. I'll try to focus on that a little
Try to
more.
focus on that and try send me a video even, and then I can have a
Yeah.
look. Oh, no,
Okay, thank you.
no worries. Anyone else?
Just a question involving the PectusPT app, Riley. Is it possible to edit our previous sleep recordings? The other day I've balked two of mine where I've accidentally put in 11 hours when it should have been 8.
I'm not sure. Sorry. Uh, you can definitely edit stats and things. Um, I'll just have a look, see if I can edit it on my end, because then that would mean that you should be able to edit it on your end. Does anyone know? Can anyone answer this for me? No? You might not be able to, unfortunately. So make sure you track it right moving forward. Sorry about that.
That's all right. I'm sure I'll be able to incorporate those 3 hours somewhere.
Yeah. Deduct an hour off your next 3 nights sleep, and then it'll make up for it overall. Um, I'll investigate it more after the call. I'll let you know if I find out if you can. You can normally go back and edit all the workout things, so you should probably be able to edit that as well. Um, Anyone else got a question?
I have a question on that note. Like, how do you track your sleep?
I used to track my sleep heaps. I used an Aura ring for a couple of years, which was good. And then I used a Whoop strap for a couple of years, which was also good. I don't do it anymore because I kind of prioritize it. Like I go to bed at 8:30 and
Oh,
wake up at 6. So, that's just good math, really. That's 9.5 hours in bed, probably 9 hours of sleep every night. So, I'm definitely getting enough, and, I'm going to bed early and sleep good now. So, and I didn't like that those apps, like the Whoop, for example, tells you like you're 10% recovered today. And I didn't want like a device telling me how I should feel, because what if I actually feel good, and then I'm just like letting that kind of sink into my subconscious. So that was another reason I stopped with that. But it is a great thing to do. I don't track my food anymore either, but it's a great thing for you all to do. Tracking everything whilst you're in the process of transforming and optimizing your body is great to give you data into your body, like, and teach you the tools and the discipline. And it was a great thing for me because it created the routines that now I know I'm getting 8 hours every night because I prioritize it, and I prioritize it because I had data that was like making me see how it was going, and now it's part of my lifestyle. So I think it is a good thing for everyone, because you make your gains when you're sleeping, when you're resting. That is when you grow. So like if you're putting heaps of effort into the gym but you're stressed out, you're sleeping 2 hours a night, you're probably doing yourself a massive disservice. So yeah, it is important.
okay. Yeah, I do track my sleep. I just use like a stopwatch on my watch. Um, but is there like a recommendation you have for time? Like, do you think getting 9 hours is good when you're recovering, or is 8, or is it just obviously depends on the person, but
Depends on the person. People have different like needs for sleep. Probably depends on how much like physical activity you do as well, you know. Like I find it on a day where I've like, trained heaps hard for several like a couple hours and then surfed, for 3 or 4 hours, like I'll probably need more sleep because my body obviously needs more time to recover. So it probably depends on that as well. I would say like as a blanket statement, 8 is like a good amount, but honestly, the more you can get, probably the better in terms of like making gains and building muscle if you have the luxury of doing so. Yeah, like 10 hours of sleep, eating lots of calories, training hard, that's a recipe for, for good muscle growth.
Absolutely. Thank you.
All right. Yeah. And it's also about like being in a parasympathetic state as much as we can throughout the day. So that just essentially means being chilled. The more you can be like chilled and like less stressed, less like, the better it'll be for recovery and muscle growth and things. Yeah. Anyone else got a question? Sweet guys. The other thing I wanted to talk about, which is another, like I feel like everyone's pretty good with working out. Most people are good with doing the stretches. And then it's just like the little things like the stats and the progress photos when they're assigned that people slip on. But like we really need to track progress in order to see where we're at and make sure we're on track. So make sure, when you get the progress photos assigned in the app that you do that. And with the progress photos, guys, I do send a message when you first sign up with some notes, and one of them is regarding that, but I think a lot of people miss it. Obviously, this is about Pectus, right? And so the app unfortunately has a prescription for a front, back, and side progress photo, but I want one that shows like the influence the training is having on your pectus appearance the best. So for the back angle, if you could do like a 45-degree like this, so in between front and side on, that'd be amazing. And that way I can see how that appearance is looking. And then also with the progress photos, they should be like with a flex, like not a crazy flex, but just like, a slight flex, abs on, try and do it under a good light. This is for two reasons. One, it's actually going to show kind of like your muscle the best to me, so I can actually assess muscle growth the best. If you're in a bad light, it really can be hard to see, but if you're under a good light, it'll really show and highlight kind of where your muscle's at. So a good light, by the way, is something down on you. Like if I took my shirt off now with this light directly above me, that would be a lot better than when it's behind me. So a good light and that way, you're also taking it kind of in your best circumstance, which can motivate you. I found when I joined the gym, I would take a photo after some chest workouts and that would get me motivated because I'd see the progress. And I find when you see the progress, you get excited about the journey and continuing. And so it is good to, so often we look at ourselves in our bad light and we're always harsh on ourselves. So to take an opportunity to actually look at yourself in a good light can motivate you to keep pushing. And it's when you're going to see the muscle the most, and therefore we can see the growth the most. Does that make sense? Yeah, cool, awesome. So yeah, just make sure you're doing that, and if you haven't been doing that, if you could start doing that, that'd be great. Cool guys. Well, they were really my two topics. Does anyone else have a question? Any newcomers here? I think we've got a few newcomers. As I said, Travis already asked a question. Adam's new. Benjamin is new. So if you guys have a question, like feel free to shoot. No questions? That's fine. I totally understand the default personality of people with Pectus. We're all introverted. So am I. So, hosting group calls is stressful for me, but we get through it. I need Ted. All right, guys. So no other questions?
No questions. I feel like everything's sort of been answered that I actually had today, which was interesting.
Perfect. Great. Yeah, that's awesome. I think
So you remember on our first meeting a couple of days ago how I said I don't really have questions. They kind of come up when I feel the need to. But a lot of times as well, I feel like when I have questions, they usually get answered by other people. So
yeah.
like-minded personalities, I think that's a cool thing.
Yeah, for sure. I guess we're all in this with the same body, and the same goals. And so I guess a lot of the things are universal, which is good. More reason for everyone to ask a question if they have one, because it's not going to be seen as silly, because most people are probably going to be thinking the same thing. All right, well, great to see your faces, guys, and keep chugging along, keep ticking at it, and until next month. And any questions, obviously, for me, just send me a message, and I'll reply. Sweet, guys. All right, have a good day.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thank
See
you.
everyone.
Right.